Hello, David Bradley here in the TV room. How are you doing? We're going through a box. We are. And here is undoubtedly an EPROM, which is a ROM, and it's for the PET. And it has, some people think it has the program on it. It doesn't. This is what they use as copy protection to make sure that you actually bought the program. Now, I think there was some minimal stuff on the EPROM, on the ROM, that were going to the correct socket, but the program was not on here. It was not. You needed the program on disk. I can't imagine using it on tape. But this was their copy protection. And it worked pretty well. So it's PaperClip 2.8, copyright, batteries included. It's funny, people would get things like this, or they'd get PaperClip, other things, and they'd say, hey, where's the batteries? Batteries included started selling calculators. And indeed, the reason they had the name batteries included is because instead of a lot of places that sold calculators, who then you'd have to get a battery and stuff, they said, no, we're going to include the battery. And then they moved on to other things. I suspect they're no longer around, but like no, there are still calculators. I don't know what they evolved into or what they've done. But then they got into things like PaperClip and the bus card and the BI-80, which would let you use do the Commodore 64 and 80 columns, which was handy for people who wanted to do word processing. They wanted to see what you were doing and how it turned out before you printed it, and realized it was a disaster. And you could use the BI-80 with the bus card. They, of course, on the 64, batteries, they had dongles as their copy protection thing. And they would plug into the joystick ports. And it's funny because there was a thing they had called, I'm struggling, there was PaperClip, and they had it done with a consultant. And much like this chip here, they had a dongle. So they made the dongle, and then they made the dongle for the consultant fit in the other port, except if you had both of them in at once, they wouldn't fit. So if you ever see a consultant dongle, if you think it looks like they just ran it through a bandsaw and just took just a little tweak off, that's exactly what they did. And eventually they decided, you know what, we're spending so much on all this dongle stuff and everything else that, and I don't know how long it took to make the key or the dongle, but eventually they decided, you know what, let's not bother with that. And on it went. That was batteries included. Where, yes, you could get a calculator and get the batteries with it. But it did confuse some people. Sort of like when people, program would say, press any key. And people would say, wait a second. There's no key. It says any on it. All right, we'll get back to this box in the next episode. Have a lovely, lovely, lovely day. Bye for now.